Good evening. I hope everyone had a wonderful day. Oh my goodness, it has been really, really busy. I have done more massage work the past 2 days, I think back to back, than I've had in a very, very, very long time. And I am very tired. My left shoulder is kind of achy and I can feel it all through my collarbone. So tomorrow is a tad bit slower and Thursday's even slower yet. So I just went ahead and blocked the rest of my schedule. I've got the amount of hours that I aim for in a week. I'm actually going to go over. So assuming and hoping that no one needs like an emergency appointment, that I will, it'll start to taper off and get a little bit better. So that's that. But I also wanted to talk about something that comes up from time to time that is actually harder to confront and talk about than it seems, and that is skin cancer and my clients. Every once in a while I have to check in with someone about something that is on their body that they may not be aware of. It's an important part of my job that if I notice something looks different than, let's say, all the other moles on their back, or something is starting to change for a client that I've seen for a long time, it's really important that I say something. And it takes a lot of, for me, courage sometimes to say something, because that is the last thing you want to do is scare somebody, right? So it takes a lot of kind of thought in my head, like, how am I going to say this in a way that doesn't freak someone out? It's not sounding like I'm diagnosing anything, but I just need to make sure they're aware that this is looking different than everything else, and that it needs to be addressed by somebody else. And it is kind of scary to bring it up. It's hard, but it's one of those few things that even though I'm scared to do it, it's one of those I have to jump in, and I know I have to say something, because if I don't say something and it really was something, I don't know if I could live with myself from that and not saying something to someone. So it happened today, and I kind of decided that I would wait until after the session, so that way when I had time to compose my thoughts about how to bring up the topic. And if they weren't aware of what I was seeing, then I didn't want to make them stress out for the whole massage, thinking and possibly worrying about something. So I usually bring it up at the end when I'm kind of checking in with them and seeing how they're feeling, and checking, if they're feeling better than they were when they came in, how is their range of motion doing compared to when they came in, and then kind of slide that topic in with it. When the time came, I basically just said, hey, puppies, they want to play. Hey, I just want to check in with you that you're aware of the moles on your back, and make sure that if you are aware of that that you have a person that you can talk to about it. And she was like, oh, yes, I'm aware. It's this particular condition that was not moles, but looked like it. And she says, I see my dermatologist regularly, and thank you so much for bringing it up. So I've never had someone react badly, but it's also in the way you say it. You have to be so cautious, and I always worry so much about, well, everything, as you guys know, but just saying it in a way that doesn't freak them out, but sounds supportive, and that I'm there to help them through that process if that's something that they need help with. So yeah, that was a huge relief. I was like, oh, thank goodness that this is a condition that you have, that like you have care for, that you see someone regularly about it. And I was like, okay, that's all I wanted to make sure, is that you were aware of it, and that you were on top of stuff. So yeah, but it can take a lot of courage and energy to build up YouTube, to say something. I know that I don't know if you can see the scar. There's a little scar right here. I had a mole there for a very, very long time. And even though I got it checked by the dermatologist like every year, and it never changed, because of what was going on with Sarah, everyone was beyond paranoid about it, because to them, even though I watched it like a hawk, to them it felt like it was getting darker and getting bigger, and no matter what, even if I had just been the dermatologist, it didn't settle well with everyone, especially because it's a very similar place to where Sarah's was. And so I was like just constantly freaking out and constantly double guessing. And it was really hard for my family to keep coming back and saying, we're really concerned about this. We want you to go get it taken off, even though the dermatologist, because they knew I would get kind of defensive about it and just be like, oh my gosh, you guys, leave me alone. Like, you're making me so anxious. The dermatologist just said that this is fine. But then, the reality is the dermatologist didn't think Sarah's was anything either. So, like, that little, like, voice in the back of my head kept kind of poking me. And finally I went back and I was like, listen, I cannot take this anymore. The amount of worry that I have over this one single mole it's too much. Please take it off. And so she did. She took it off, and it was completely normal and completely fine. The labs came back fine. But I am actually really glad that I did. And even though it was driving me crazy how everyone was like nitpicking over it, I recognized how hard it was for them to say something to me. And so I think of that when I have to talk to someone at work. So, if you have someone that that they have, and all you have to do is say, hey, this looks different than the other things that are like next to it, right? This looks different. It would be worth getting it looked at. Stay away from like, well, it could be skin cancer, because you don't know. There's so many, like today, I didn't have a clue what was on her back, except that it looked like a bunch of moles. Well, it wasn't moles. So that's another reason why I don't speculate, and it can freak people out, but just making sure that like you're really reiterating how important it is for someone who knows what they're looking for to tell you if it's safe or not, because we aren't qualified, and the only way this is sorry, Dakota has the zoomies in the bedroom. Oh, bud. I don't know if you can hear. But yeah, we aren't qualified. We aren't qualified. So just try to, like, you know, it's important to say something, but think about how it comes out. And gosh, that is so true in so many things in our lives, right? So, Dakota. She thought maybe the conversation was getting too serious. All right, well, now that I've gotten that off my chest, and I've reminded myself that it doesn't matter sometimes. It doesn't matter sometimes. If it's scary, you just have to do it, because it could be someone's life. Oh my gosh, you guys. All right, I'm gonna go because they're beating me up now. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.